Good morning. Welcome back to CCRA's Technology Impact series. Today's feature is DropBox, an overview of its court reporting uses. On a personal level, I've used this DropBox tool for approximately 6 years, and I've used it for many different features in my work, including organizing my Excel spreadsheets, doing it daily with my scopist, sharing important transcripts, confidential transcripts, etc. So let's get right into the series, and I will explain in more detail what the uses of the program can be for our profession. So what is DropBox? Basically, it's a tool to collaborate and share documents, large files, or any other thing you need to share in a digital format with your clients or friends. It also allows you to work on the go, work online or offline, and then from your smartphone, computer, or tablet. So you can get an app for your Android or your Apple iPhone and have access to the DropBox in a mobile environment. So it's very easy to set up and control and manage the accounts. There are no administrative controls if you choose not to use them. So it's pretty simple. And of course, it is trusted and dependable, and it has bank-like encryption. So what I want to talk today is about today are the categories of uses in the different categories of our profession. First and foremost, official and freelance reporters. Then we'll get into deposition firms, how they can use DropBox, scopists and proofreaders, and on a personal level, and even professional association work. So let's start with officials and freelancers. It really allows you accessibility every minute of every day for important work-related files, such as job dictionaries, transcript page layouts, job sheets, exhibits, etc. And you also can send your large transcript and audio files to your scopist or your firm using DropBox. And it creates work units in your CAT program if you're doing a daily, where it can actually real-time the text and the audio to the DropBox, so your scopist has immediate access to start scoping right as you're doing the work. Additionally, you can scan your captions, exhibits, or business cards right at your deposition or your court trial, save them to the DropBox folder you share with your scopist so they can have access to all of that information. You can save them to your financial folder that you create for your taxes, etc. And officials, think about going paperless. Upload your prelims, etc. to a DropBox folder and share that with your DA, or you can actually link the one specific prelim and send that link to your client, and then they can access it that way rather than attaching it to an email. And so if you're working on a multi-day job, for instance, with multiple reporters, use DropBox to upload your rough to the folder, and the next reporter has access to that rough draft immediately upon upload. It automatically syncs to her computer when you do that. So initially there's a little bit of a setup involved, but it's pretty simple. So use it for sensitive, confidential depositions, rather than attach it to an email. Send a link to the attorney, and then they can access your transcript via that link and download it onto their computer. As I mentioned earlier, there's an app for Android and Apple that you can download, and this is very handy when you're not at your computer and a client or a firm requests a transcript that you have in your DropBox. Just simply from your phone, forward it to them. And I also use the app for accessing my Excel spreadsheets that I keep for tax purposes, my cash expenses when I travel, and I also use it for my tracking jobs, etc. So if you're a firm, it might be something for you to consider using DropBox if you don't already have a transcript repository you use. You can share case-related documents with your reporters, such as job dictionaries, word lists, page layout formats, and exhibits. You can have your reporter send in their transcript files with audio if requested via the Dropbox. I mean, obviously those files are way too big to attach to an email, so this is one way to get around that. So if you're working on a case with another deposition firm, for instance, and the attorneys or the litigants are consecutively numbering the exhibits and you're sharing the exhibits, work with that firm and upload the exhibits to a shared folder in Dropbox. And if you, like I say, don't already use a repository, consider setting up a link in Dropbox for delivery of transcripts and exhibits. You can share a folder with your client that contains all of the transcripts in a case. You can manage your multi-day jobs with multiple reporters using Dropbox shared folders. And of course, like I mentioned before, sensitive and confidential depositions shouldn't always be sent as an attachment to an email, and Dropbox allows you to create a link for the client to download the file. For SCOPISTS, it allows your SCOPIST to access your work units on a daily or expedited job within Dropbox, and it allows for the fast delivery of audio in real-time text. Use Dropbox shared folders to share all of your jobs with your SCOPISTs and not just your expedites. Share and store word lists, job dictionaries, and page layouts for the different cases you're working on with your SCOPISTs. You can share files with a proofreader and more than one SCOPIST when doing a daily. A SCOPIST can send back the transcript file via Dropbox so the file doesn't get lost in email, or the reporter has access to the files at any time, anywhere, and knows where they're going to be. So for personal use, I've uploaded some movies and videos to share with my family members. I've set up my smartphone to automatically upload any pictures I take from my smartphone to the Dropbox. And I use Dropbox for linking to distribute invitations to families or friends, and much more. It really allows you to be creative and use the product in many different ways. So for association use, it's really wonderful for collaborating on a project. It's simple to use. It's you just set up a Dropbox folder and share it with your board members, for instance. And the latest document version is automatically synced and made available to the board members. Share your board meeting binders or books using Dropbox and access them via mobile device or even your iPad. No need carrying around all that paper. I was fortunate to be on the Real-Time Systems Administrator Committee, and we worked extensively in Dropbox for over a year creating that 500-page manual, and additionally with the troubleshooting pocket guide. So it's a very useful tool in collaboration. So what's the big deal about Dropbox? It automatically syncs your folders. You can work offline on a document, and upon internet access, Dropbox automatically syncs the document in the cloud. You can create links to documents stored on Dropbox. The client doesn't need to have Dropbox installed that way. You don't have to manage passwords or permissions. You can just send an invitation to join a Dropbox folder to access any transcript or document. So it is secure. This slide shows you the security levels of the program. I don't want to get into specifics of that, but you can see that there on your screen. So how does it apply to the statutes in California? For instance, for depositions, we have Code of Civil Procedure 2025-510D, and it says if the deposition officer receives a request from a party for an original or a copy of the deposition transcript, we have to make that copy of the transcript or partial deposition transcript available to all parties at the same time. So what does at the same time mean? What it means to me is making it available at the same time. So how can I do that? I can actually send a link to all the attorneys in the case at the same time to access their transcript. Now, how is that different than sending it via email? I mean, I may just want to make sure that I get paid ahead of time, so I send that link and let them know it's available. but I may not necessarily have it uploaded until they pay me. So it's just one more step removed from my computer making this transcript available at the same time to all parties. So Business and Professions Code 8025D specifically says a certificate issued under this chapter may be suspended, revoked, or denied, and a certificate in this case is our license, our CSR license, for unprofessional conduct. And so what does professional conduct specifically include? It includes but is not limited to acts contrary to professional standards concerning impartiality, notifications, availability, delivery, execution, and certification of transcripts. So once again, using the Dropbox, making a link to a transcript ensures that you're being impartial, being fair to all parties, and you're making available your transcripts to all parties in a timely and impartial way. So what does Dropbox cost? Dropbox is actually free, and you have up to 18 gigabytes, and you can, every time a new one of your friends joins Dropbox, you're credited with 500 megabytes. Now obviously if you use Dropbox extensively, you're going to have to go out of the free mode and pay a little bit more. I personally am on the 50 gigabyte account plan, which costs $9.99 a month or $99 a year. And if you need to extend that and go into the pro account, it's $20 a month and $200 a year. So again, it's an additional expense, but for the convenience and for the functionality of it, it's well worth your money. So other similar programs available are the recently released Google Drive, SugarSync, Skybox, Nbox. I've attached a HTTP link to a comparison on a blog I found. I can't say that this comparison is totally accurate, but it's got some information on the specific features involved in each one of these programs. So you may ask me, why do I use Dropbox? When I got interested in this program, it was the only one available, and I've stayed loyal to it. I haven't specifically checked out any of these programs. I have downloaded Google Drive and don't use it much because I do use the Dropbox. So remember, if you're a CCRA member, you may download this PowerPoint from CCRA's website at www.calccra.org, and you can email TechImpact@calccra.org for any information, more specific information you may have, more questions, provide input or feedback, and keep us informed on how you benefit from this, and we'll talk to you next time. I plan to specifically go into the detail of actually showing you how to set up the Dropbox and using it in my next Tech Impact video. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you soon.